Welcome back. We continue live right here, Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani with you until 11 o'clock. A couple of basketball games held tonight. Penn State trailed by 14 at one point in Columbus. Came back, took the lead at 70-69 with a minute 30 left, only to lose 74-70, and they are now 1-11 in Big Ten play. Although they've been involved in a lot of close games, this was kind of emblematic of their entire season, what we saw there tonight. Robert Morris and Andy Toole had a two-game losing streak, but they win tonight against Bryant, so they are still atop the NEC standings. And Pitt will take on NC State. And the question is, which NC State team will show up? That's Saturday at the Peterson Event Center. Last Saturday, they scored just 24 total points in a game. That was it, 24. They're ranked 25th in the country, lost 47-24 to Virginia Tech. Yet the other night, they scored 97, although they gave up 113 in North Carolina. So it'll be a very interesting test for Jeff Capel and his team on Saturday. Meantime, let's go actually to Twitter first, and then I get to some of the calls. Jared Starks on Twitter. You can hit me up at KD Pomp. He says, if the Penguins miss the playoffs, you can look back at all these losses to sub-500 teams as to why. That would be correct, but I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. They'll get healthy and play better as they get down the stretch. I don't know if they're going to win their division, but I think they'll be in the playoffs. If not, you're right. They'll look back at a lot of these games, especially the ones at home, like what we saw the other night, a 4-0 drumming to the Carolina Panthers. George Lochner says, can't wait for Schultz to come back. He's a big part of what they do. Hopefully he comes back and stays healthy. And yes, tonight we saw the first goal by Marcus Patterson, who's been, I thought he had a bad night going until that goal. They haven't gotten any production. Jack Johnson has one goal. Ole Mata has one goal. If not for Chris Letang, there's nobody else back there. So Justin Schultz will be like a training or trading deadline addition to the team, and somebody who can come in and make a big difference, I think. Now let's go to the lines. Line 2, it's Rob in the Hill District. What's up, Rob?
Hey, Bob, I'm concerned about the Pitt basketball team. This Jeff Capel, he's great at recruiting, like, the smaller guys, but he lost out on a lot of big centers, and they went to other places, and that's one of Pitt's weakness. And I was thinking, like, this one guy, Kofi Cochran, he's one of the top centers in the country, and he chose Illinois on the strength of his relationship with Orlando Antigua. And I remember Orlando Antigua had wanted to be an assistant coach with Jeff Capel, and Jeff Capel passed him up. And if one thing Orlando Antigua can get, he can recruit, man. What you think?
Well, I think Capel can also. I think it's only 1 year, Rob, so what I'll do is I'll give him some time. I thought he brought in, under a very short amount of time to deal with, 3 very good freshmen, 2 of whom are the best, I think some of the best guards in the ACC, and they're only going to get better, Xavier Johnson, Trey McGowans. So I would give him time. I'm not going to rush to conclusion here. I think he has what it takes to recruit those kind of guys. He's been around Mike Krzyzewski long enough where he knows how to get it done, go into a living room, impress a family, and have somebody come here. And I think in year 2 you'll see a big difference there. They certainly need depth. They don't have enough of it, and it shows in some of these games like we saw the other night. Wayne at Allison Park. What's up, Wayne?
Bob, who in the world is going to play shortstop for the Pirates this year? I don't think it's going to be Manny Machado.
It could be. They have the money. Why not?
I don't think so. I'm just wondering, from what I'm seeing, I see a huge hole there, maybe the biggest hole in the team, on a team with a lot of holes.
Whoever gets it is going to be inexperienced, Kevin Newman or Eric Gonzalez.
Oh, boy.
Those are your choices at this point unless they bring somebody else in. So, and I think Newman can do it. Can he do it on a regular basis? I think it's tough to expect a rookie to carry that load at that position. Eric Gonzalez has been in the Cleveland organization for quite some time, never had an opportunity to play. My only down point on that is if he was this good and the Pirates are making him out to be really good, just blocked, I would have expected someone else to make before the age of 27 to go out and make a trade to get him. But we'll see. Those are the 2 options at this point.
Well, Newman sure hasn't shown us anything at this point.
It's to me inconclusive. He played last year. I saw good. I saw we'll see. They're going to have to get more than one person to handle that position if they don't add on at this point. I think that's pretty clear. Thanks, Wayne, for the call. Line 4, we go. Mark in the North Hills. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, Bob, great show, always.
I appreciate you calling.
I was going to ask you about, because you mentioned Machado and Bryce Harper. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's collusion within the owners to keep their salaries down and not let them make the $300 million that they're looking for? I don't know what Machado's looking for. I know Harper's looking for that. Do you think they'll get it? I'll hang up. Thanks. Great show.
Thank you. I think a lot of people in baseball and the Players Association would tell you they are doing some colluding. I think it's just common sense. I think if you look at the history of long-term deals they're certainly not in the advantage of teams that make them, because you typically get something out of a player early on, and then the last 5 years you're just hanging on and paying a guy way over what he's worth based on his current production. The Pujolses, the Miggy Cabreras, those were all paid contracts based on what those guys had done. Now you're looking the tail end of their careers, and you're still going to play them over $30 million a year. That's a lot to pay a guy who can be really kind of an albatross to your salary cap. So I think teams are just being smart about how they go about handling their money. Some will say that's collusion. Others will say it's just common sense. I happen to think they need to be a little bit more economical with some of these deals. I would like to see the Pirates just get involved in a 2 to 3 year deal. You don't have to go 8 years, but how about making an offer that's a hefty offer to a player for 2 to 3 years? He may not like that term and turn it down, but at least, you know, put it out there and see what happens. You never know. You might get somebody. Let's go to Dave in Johnstown. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Hey, I know you don't want to beat a dead horse, so I'm just going to ask you a general question.
Sure.
I assume if you are a professional athlete contracted to a team, you have agents and or attorneys in the sidelines, and if you don't play, you don't get paid. If you don't get paid, this came up in a conversation the other day, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid, I'm assuming. So I'll hang up and see what you have to say about that.
What are you specifically asking about? Who are you specifically asking
Well, of course, Brown and Bell.
Okay, well, they got paid. They would have gotten – Brown got paid. He did not play. They didn't discipline him in a room with a paycheck. They should have. They had every right to do it, and they didn't, so he got paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just assuming.
Well, I would have thought he'd be, disciplined and say you're suspended. You're not going to get paid for that week. But for whatever reason, that did not happen. But listen, you look at a guy like Anthony Davis. This is a different sport. I'm crossing over to the NBA. But
hey, I'll hang up.
All right. Thank you. So he's a guy who has 2 years left on a contract, but he doesn't want to play in New Orleans. Now, they did not trade him. Today was the NBA trade deadline. And they pretty much said, we're not going to do it right now because it's in our best interest not to. They're going to wait till the offseason, and if there is a trade, you can get more teams involved. Right now, there are just a few teams, given cap situations, that can play in this. But he doesn't want to play for them, and he sat out a lot of games. I wouldn't pay him either if he's going to willingly sit out. Now, they may say he's injured. I don't know what their dealing is with him. But I'm sorry, you got a signed deal. This is why guys who want to leave before their contract's up, I'm sorry, you signed the deal. You know what it is. Now, I know the counterpoint is, okay, owners can just release you at any point. Well, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, yes, they have that option. They're the people who own the team. They're the people who should have the right to do that. You, as someone who signs a contract, should obligate yourself to that contract. That's just my opinion, and I know that a lot of people have differing opinions with that. That's the way I see it. Let's go to Calvin in Clearfield. What's up, Calvin? How are you?
Good evening, Bob. Thanks for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question about the Steelers and the NFL draft. Realistically, where do you think the Steelers will be in the NFL draft this year, knowing they didn't make the playoffs? I'll hang up, see what you have to say.
Well, they're drafting at 20. They got to do a better job at defense. If you look at their last, how many defensive backs they've selected, they haven't gotten much production out of hardly any of them. Cam Sutton, Artie Burns, Allen, who's the 5th-round pick out of Utah, not much so far. Senquez Golson, he never even played. He was a 2nd-round pick, and others. So if they're going to go back to that position, the problem with missing that much is that you got to keep drafting the same position, and it makes it harder to draft other positions of need because there always are positions of need. So I expect them to really go heavy on defense. And I think they also, as I said, should come out of their comfort zone a little bit and spend more money in free agency on defensive players. I think looking back, that was a mistake, bringing in John Bostic, and he didn't really turn out to be the kind of player they wanted to replace Ryan Shazier. Even though you can't replace Ryan Shazier, you can bring in somebody maybe who has a higher pedigree, and I think they need to do more of that. 412-575-2600, that's the number. We'll take more calls as we go along right here on Pittsburgh CW.